Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Signals from the Deep, the official podcast of your Seattle Kraken. I am Piper Shaw, joined as always by
JT Brown.
JT, and today as well, we have to start by giving our lovely producer, Drew, a shout out, because as we are recording it, it is his birthday. Wow, 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 wow.
Thanks, Piper.
You're welcome.
Any special plans?
Just
Wow.
happy to
I'm
be
so
here.
sorry.
No, yeah, I'm gonna have a little game night with the family. Might even try that puzzle.
I hope it
Take
works
all
out.
night.
Yes, no, it's fun.
JT brought Drew a puzzle. I
Yeah.
thought that was so thoughtful.
Well, he said he likes puzzles. I got a bunch of puzzles still sitting in my closet. After I finish them, I still hold on to them. So there's plenty more if you enjoy this puzzle.
Appreciate it.
So, as this podcast is coming out, it is a new year, but we've not recorded since the Christmas holidays and the holiday break. So, I just wanted to kind of check in with you guys. How was your holiday? What'd you do?
Mine was good. A lot of downtime, relaxing. Obviously, we know the schedule this year is so busy, right? So finally get a couple of days to sit down. Obviously, seeing the kids open up their presents was obviously fun. And, just kind of taking that time to relax a little bit before we know January really picks up.
Okay, I want to get back to the kids opening up the presents, but first I want to check in with Drew.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to recap because I saw some funny stuff on social during my holiday and it was hilarious. It actually made me laugh out loud. So we'll touch on that.
How was your Christmas
Mine
though,
was
Drew?
good. It was good. It was chill. It was low key. Just stayed local with the fam. Everyone's pretty much here, so we weren't sick this year, which we had been the last couple holidays. So it was nice. It was
Always
very
grateful
nice.
for health during the holidays.
Yours looked very fun.
My Christmas, it was, and we will also get to that because I feel like it kind of bleeds into another topic that we're going to get to. But okay, we need to talk about JT's Christmas morning in the Brown household. Now, folks, if you don't follow JT on social media, I completely understand because he never posts. However, his wife, Lexi, does. And she posted a video of this debacle after JT had it on his story. It went completely viral. It's like over 1.5 million likes, I think, on TikTok. Please explain to us the scene that unfolded in your household as your children opened presents.
Yeah, so obviously getting the kids downstairs, it was about 7:05, somewhere around there in the morning. So it's still dark outside, but presents are getting opened. And Booker has been asking for a drone for years now. Finally, it was brought. He opened it up, and his reaction to getting the drone was top-notch. I think, we looked at Booker during the Kraken game. We got to see those clips of how excited he was at a Kraken game. This one took the cake. He was that excited. That's what makes the next part, I think, even better is just his reaction to getting the drone, being so excited.
He's screaming.
Yeah, screaming, 7 o'clock. I'm still barely have my coffee. But yes, took probably, like an hour to charge the battery. So you got to charge the battery for the drone, going through, and within minutes of him taking his first flight with the drone, he flies it right towards Lily. Lily tries to shimmy out of the way, doesn't move fast enough. The drone flies directly into Lily's hair. The lights are on. Her face is just priceless. Unfortunately, Lily was not very excited about that, started crying. And
Different kind of screaming after this.
As the parent I am, I went right to my phone and I needed to get a picture of this. Meanwhile, Lily's just looking at me like, please help. Like, what are we doing? Why are you taking a picture? The drone was stuck in her hair. Thankfully, we didn't have to cut much of her hair. I think Lexi said she only had to cut like 2 strands and it was down at the bottom. But it was tangled pretty good in there. So it was kind of the combination of the pure excitement from Booker, but then the complete opposite reaction from Lily when Booker flew it in. And actually, which never made it to the story or to either of the social posts afterwards, Booker, a couple hours later, or maybe not a couple hours, it was in the afternoon, when my mom was making potatoes or boiling the water to put the potatoes for mashed potatoes, Booker flew the drone into the pot of boiling water.
Oh, is it okay?
The drone did work for another like 4 hours after that, but then I think the boiling water, something like
So
the
he
plastic,
doesn't even have a drone anymore.
No, a new one came yesterday.
Wow.
Got him another one. So yeah, beyond obviously Lily's hair and then flying it into a pot of boiling water is. He's not the best drone pilot yet. He's learning. I think we'll get there. Probably why the drone should not be flown inside. But
I was gonna say, I feel like that's an outside activity.
We know Seattle's weather and the rain, and so we got him one that said it was okay to fly inside, but maybe keep it away from the kitchen area, TVs, and let him fly it in the basement.
That's very generous of you to get him another one after both of those incidents in one day.
Oh, he was very, very sad. So like the exact opposite reaction, almost like Lily when the drone flew into a pot of boiling water and thought it was ruined. We dried it out. It worked for a little bit and then it shut down. So
was Lily happy about it when it went into the pot?
I think kind of mainly because Booker didn't want to ever let her fly it. I think that he thought that she was going to try to recreate the drone in the hair situation, but just have it be in Booker's hair this time. So she has since gotten to fly it, so they both are enjoying it, and we just make sure that Lily's hair is put up before the drone gets put into motion.
And maybe Lexi's too.
Yes, everyone is protecting their hair except for me.
But that's surprising, knowing you.
I got shorter hair. It's probably not going to get caught in, and then I said at the end of the day, if I just have to get a haircut, I have to get a haircut.
Yeah,
you're fast.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay, I want to put the clip in here, though, so that everybody can witness firsthand what JT just described.
A drone! I got a drone! I got a drone!
All right, well, I thought that was hilarious, and people love the Booker stories, and Booker just keeps bringing them, so...
Full of energy. He's got something. So again, that was one of the pure highlights of this holiday break for me.
So before the break, the Kraken ended in California. They swept all of the California teams, which were not only huge Pacific Division points, but there was also some fun stories and some things that were going on down in Southern California. Do we want to start with our story here?
Yeah, we can start with the story, then lead into your holiday.
So we were in San Jose, fly to Anaheim after the game, after the team won, and we had an off day on Sunday. And so for a while, I had been planning to go to Disneyland on this Sunday with Carlin Baith, who is my counterpart basically with the LA Kings. She's the reporter for the Kings, has been for a very long time, somebody I've always really looked up to, and now I'm very fortunate to be friends with. But when the NHL schedule came out in like August, she texted me and she was like, hey, you guys I think are going to have an off day in Southern California. Can we go to Disneyland? Because she also lives nearby, obviously. And so we'd been planning this for months and months. And I had bought my tickets and all of this stuff months ahead of time. And then JT and Al, our radio color analyst, decided week of that you guys wanted to go to, something like that.
Yeah, I was about there. Yeah.
Yeah. And things have just been very crazy with the schedule, obviously, like JT said. And it's just like, we're kind of just locked in on games every single day. Like that is the only thing that I have bandwidth for in my life at all right now is just Kraken hockey and Kraken hockey features. Like that is so, we get into the Anaheim hotel 2 a.m. after the San Jose game, and I'm checking my Disneyland Resort app, and I don't have a reservation to go to the park. And in case you're not aware, you no longer just need a ticket, you also need a reservation to go. And I have no idea how that happened, and I start freaking out, and I'm scanning my emails, and I'm like looking at my credit card statement, and I'm searching through my text messages, and I like have evidence that I texted that I like booked this months ago, but it's not in my phone. It is not in my phone. However, my husband and I were going to spend Christmas Day at Disneyland because my husband was actually born in Orange County. His grandpa lives there, so we spent Christmas Eve with his grandpa. So we were always planning to do that. So I had like all these other plans in the app, and I did not have a reservation. And I text JT at like 3 a.m, and I'm like all caps, like, I'm devastated. I was so upset. So upset.
Well, I think too, part of it is we're sitting there, you know, right after the trip going like, we're like planning, all right, what time are we going to get up in the morning? This is what time we're going to get to the hotel going through. And, you know, this time we weren't staying at the hotel right across from Disneyland. So there was a little switch up there. And I wake up to said all cap text. And I'm like, oh no, like we've been talking about it. We've known there's a couple of dates that have always been circled where there's an opportunity we might go to Disney. We obviously went last year. We're going to go again this year.
We're going to make some content.
Yep. So
good little content makers.
Obviously texting Piper, doesn't have the ticket, going through, and she's like, we're still going to meet you down in the lobby, and we're talking about it. And me and Al are sitting there, and we just know how, not to say how much it meant, but like how much you wanted to go to Disney, not only because it's Disney, because you wanted to do the podcasting stuff. Like there was just so much riding on this.
And like
trip.
Carlin had planned this in August. She'd been waiting for us to do this.
So we're sitting down in the hotel lobby, just waiting. And as we're going through, like you can just see on Piper's face, like truly devastated, sad that this is not going to work out. But then at the same time, me and Al are like, well, we have our tickets. Like, we still have to go. I don't want to leave Piper behind, but at the same time, like,
I would have never let you guys not go.
So we have to.
Never.
But it's just like the situation. We're sitting there like, we're getting ready to go have the most fun day ever. And then Piper's like, I guess I'm going to go walk across and get coffee as they're getting ready to leave. And we're just like going back and forth like, you should just come with us. And we, you know, like, you don't have a ticket. They're sold out. That's the other thing, right? So you couldn't buy another ticket. And we're like, man, just come, just try. Like, we know, but Disney's not going to it's not going to happen.
Because they have issues with this reservation system all the time. People, they're like, I bought a ticket, but I didn't make a reservation, and it's a whole thing. And so it's like.
Now, I imagine I didn't see, because of Piper, you're walking across the other way, going to the Starbucks across the street. But, like, I envision, as this is happening, we're getting ready to go on our Uber, like, there's just, like, a single tear going down Piper's face. Like, that's what I'm seeing in my mind as we're driving away in this Uber. We get there, and like eventually, as we're right up at getting towards the gates, me and Al are just sitting there and we're talking like, we might as well try. Like, let's try to get Piper in. So as soon as we go into California Adventure, I remember where the little kiosk was for customer service. And we walk in there, and just Jenny, she was the best customer service. Like, we go in there and I'm like, is there any way we're supposed to have another person come with us? They're part of our group. She has a ticket for another day. It just didn't get registered for this day. We're going back and forth. Eventually, she's like, well, let me see a ticket. So I text Piper, like, send me a picture of your ticket within minutes, like right away.
And I have no idea that they're doing this.
Boom, ticket right to the phone. She scans it, going through to her, trying to figure out if she can get into the park. How are we going to do it? Eventually, after maybe, 15 minutes or so of talking with Jenny, she's making things work. And I'm like, Piper, get an Uber.
Get over here.
Yeah, they call me.
We're changing your ticket.
They call me. They're like, call an Uber. You're in. I'm like, what? What did you do? Al said JT leveraged his swag.
Ooh.
He was turning on the charm.
Just being friendly, had a little conversation explaining our situation of what was going on. We wanted Piper to be there. She was devastated she couldn't come, but she has tickets. I think it did help, because obviously I think they probably can see your account that you did have, the hotel reservation.
I was spending Christmas Day there.
Either way, I think that because we were inside the park, we got a little extra help. And yes, but then all of a sudden, 35, 40 minutes later, Piper was ready to go. Piper ready in the car. We're like, all right, we're going to go do one ride. And by that time, we only rode one ride before Piper was at the park. Mm-hmm. So then
Score.
Yeah.
Again, from a situation where we were like, this is impossible, we're never going to get her into the park, just had a nice smile, said, hey, this is what we need to do. We're just talking. We ended up getting Piper into the park. When she didn't have a ticket, it was sold out. But then comes the next part, which I'll let you explain, which was awesome as well because we're going through the park. We did everything we needed to do at California Adventure, but Al and I had park hoppers, so we wanted to go do the Disneyland side. So we were over there at this time.
Yeah, so Carlin and I both love Cars, the Cars franchise, and Disney California Adventure has a Cars Land. And so part of why we'd been planning this was that we always were like, we need to go to Cars Land together and ride this one ride together. It's kind of just like a bit, but like we always said we were going to do that. So originally I only bought a ticket for the one park because to add the park hopper is so expensive. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was going later in the week. Like I'm like, I don't need to spend the extra money when I'm going later in the week at the time, but also at the time that I thought I bought that ticket and did everything. JT and Al weren't originally like planning on going or like they didn't have their ticket. So anyways, it's not that big of a deal, but I didn't have a park hopper. Everybody else did. And Carlin is like, I think we should just go ask, but everything is sold out. And I go and ask and they're like, oh, probably not. Probably nothing we can do, blah, blah, blah. And then Carlin's like, I'm going to go ask somebody else. And she does the same thing that JT does. And just like turns on the charm and is like, listen. And, you know, we had a whole day planned of all of us NHL broadcasters in the park. We're making vlogs. We're doing all this stuff. And she just wants to park hop over to the other park just for a couple of hours. Our buds are over there, like this whole thing. And they made it happen. So anyways, we were gifted two incredible Christmas miracles to the broadcast team by the folks at Disneyland. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And we made some excellent memories and had a great time. You had never done the Jungle Cruise, right?
No, that was the first time on the Jungle Cruise.
And you really enjoyed it.
It was funny. That was, I will go again.
Now you'll go again.
I will go again.
At first you guys were like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I was like, you should do it. So anyway, that is so much we have not even talked about hockey, so I feel like we need to do that now. But yeah, anyway, Christmas miracles all around, and shout out to all of the people being better advocates for me than me. So, speaking of Anaheim, the Kraken defeated the Anaheim Ducks. At the time, the Ducks were at the top of the Pacific Division, so that was a big morale-boosting win, I would say. Philip Grubauer had an absolutely phenomenal game, or as I've been saying, phenomenal game. But something happened in the pregame show that I wanted to clear up because there was people online tweeting at me about this. And so in case you missed it, during the pregame show, I had a feature run on Capo Caco. And at the tail end of the feature, when I came back on camera, there was a very loud noise behind me. And it was a little bit startling. But I kind of just kept moving because I'm on live television and that's what you do. And everybody was tweeting, why would the equipment staff have to sharpen skate blades while Piper is in the middle of talking? They can see that she's talking. They can hear that she's talking. I would like to clear the name of our equipment staff that they did not do that. They were not sharpening skates. They've never done that. They're always super respectful and very helpful when I'm all up in their space on the road. That noise was the work of Ellie Tolvanen. Let's be very clear. And he was cutting a stick. And after, I went up to him and I was like, you knew what you were doing. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, yes, you do. You knew that you were cutting that stick right when I said your name because Capo Caco started the season living with Ellie Tolvanen again. And I was mentioning that. And the second that I said his name, he let the saw rip. And he acknowledged that, yes, he did. And he would do it again. So anyways, I thought it was funny because one, I didn't want people to think our equipment staff were like being rude, but also two, that is such a good like example of the exact kind of mischief that Tolvi loves to cause. Like,
well, and the true professional you are, you keep going. You
True.
have to. It's live. You're going on. But again, that was
I don't know if anybody even heard what I was saying.
That was funny. That was good.
Yeah, it was very funny. But I saw a lot of people who were like mad about it and they were like, really, equipment staff? Like she was almost done. Like, and it was not them, but it was Tolvi. And they won, so whatever. And Tolvi, speaking of Tolvanen, he has been on a hot streak. Unfortunately, his point streak, which had matched his career high, ended in the Vancouver game. Yeah. But what has impressed you, JT, about Ellie Tolvanen's game lately?
Oh, he's doing all of the things right. Whenever you talk about it's the plays at the blue line, he's not turning pucks over. He's getting in offensively. The point production is one thing, right? You can see that. You can track as his points, obviously getting into a 6-game point streak. He's sitting right now. He's tied for first on the team in points, leads the team when it comes to assists as well. But you look at the different areas. Obviously, a big change this year would be going to the penalty kill, which he hadn't done a lot of, and that's just giving him more ice time. And you can see his confidence continuing to grow too. Obviously, we know how good his shot is on the power play as well. But just getting out there, whether it's 5-on-5, whether it's getting on the PK, when the team is giving more trust to Tolvanen, and he's proving that that's the right decision with just how he plays. I love that he's still, tied for the lead in the team points, but he still leads the team in hits too. So he plays a physical game. He has the skill component. There's really not many, you can't think of really any holes within his game. He's an all-around player. He plays the game 200 feet, but also can find the back of the net and set up his other teammates as well. And, him and his entire line has been playing fantastic.
Yeah, and you mentioned adding penalty kill to his workload, but we had been, maybe Edzo the most, had been hooting about it all last year that we wanted to see Tolvi on the power play more often. He's been getting power play time too this year, so it's like now he's an all situations player. And you mentioned the assists that he's piling on to. I asked him after the LA game why he thinks he's just contributing in that way so much more than he ever has. I don't have the exact math in front of me, but he is well on pace to top his career high in assists. He's like right there basically. Yeah. So I asked him why he thinks that is, and he credited penalty killing, not only because of the ice time, but because he said just being mentally engaged in the game. Like, he's like, when you have to go kill penalties, you need to be ready to battle. You need to be ready to compete and bring that energy. He's like, and I just feel like that mindset has trickled into all of my game, like 5-on-5 and everything.
Well, I think when you consider, just go back to last year when you're not on the power play and you're not on a penalty kill unit as well, think of how many different times throughout a game where one team gets a power play, then the next team gets a power play. And if you're not on any of those units, that's 4 minutes where you're just sitting there. You're not engaged. So now you have to get back into the game versus now when he's playing on all of those units, 5-on-5, going on again, the trust to put him out there in those situations. You're staying, like you said, engaged. You're still playing throughout. And obviously you're not playing the entire time when it goes through that. But when it comes back to that next 5-on-5 shift, you're ready to go because you've been out on the ice. And it is hard. It's difficult when you're not out on those ice. We talk about it all the time, too, when there's early penalties in the game. We're talking about the fourth line and how it can be difficult for them. They haven't played in the first 5-6 minutes because of a major penalty or, whatever the case, or a double minor, and now there's that break, right? So those guys have to do something to get re-engaged in the game. So for Tolvanen, it makes sense, like you said, being out on the penalty kill, and also I think when you add the power play, too, staying engaged completely within the game every single shift. It's easier when you're going out and you don't have long lapses of you sitting on the bench and just sliding down the next spot to the next spot to the next spot until your number's called.
Yeah, that makes me think of, too, another thing. It was ahead of the Anaheim game. I was just asking him about kind of their line chemistry. So at the time of recording this, that second line, or the Stevenson line, has been Ellie Tolvanen, Chandler Stevenson, and Freddie Gaudreau. Freddie Gaudreau, obviously a natural center. They've been having him at wing there. And I asked Ellie kind of what that does for him in his game with having two natural centers on his line. And obviously that gives them face-off option, so they always have a guy that can take a face-off on their strong side. But he also just said that he thinks they're both so defensively responsible that they handle that part of the game a little bit more, which frees him up to play a little bit more freely too. So I thought that was just, it's an interesting combination there, and it's been working really well. So
yeah, I think too, Tolvi's a shooter, right? Like when he gets the puck, especially when you talk about power play, but even 5-on-5, if he gets it and he's at the top of the circles, he should be shooting. And I think of obviously Stevie as a playmaking player, like he wants to set up that next move. He's very deceptive with his passing and making sure that, the lanes are open. And look at Gaudreau as well, the skill that he has. Those two players can find Tolvanen in those good scoring spots and positions for him. That's got to be a dream line to play with two guys that not only they can obviously both put the puck in the back of the net, but also are looking to make those plays.
Right.
And if they're both looking to make those plays, more than likely Tolvanen's going to be on the receiving end of one of those passes, and he's going to be in an excellent opportunity. He's had a couple of chances. I even look back in the Vancouver game, had a couple right out in the slot, and obviously Lankinen made a couple of good stops. But if you keep putting yourself into that position, you're going to keep finding the back of the net.
Plus, being able to start with possession as often as they should be able to, too, with having a guy available always to take a draw on their strong side. And plus, Stevie has been scoring a ton
Yeah.
too, like way more than you normally would be expecting him to when it comes to contributing in goals too. So that's been positive and fun. And yeah, I just think that's been a really fun line to watch and to see click. So you mentioned the fourth line though. I want to talk about the fourth line a little bit too. I thought it was interesting how you said that, like, you know, they sit cold on the bench for so long, but their job is to bring energy and manufacture that energy. I wonder if you could offer your kind of perspective on how you have to be able to find that, to do that, and what's impressed you about how they are doing that.
I mean, for me, I mean, I did that as well, and you spend a lot of time. It can be difficult, but I think that's also where the physical aspect of the game comes into play. You try to play the game simple. You play the game north. You want to be predictable to your line mates, but it's the forecheck and it's the physicalness that can change the momentum within a game. And excuse me, Lane was very complimentary of that fourth line, especially in the Anaheim game. Going into that third period, they really changed the tone and were able to build the momentum for the Kraken. Now, they've done that in many other games, but specifically that game, Lane was very complimentary after the game, talking about the work that they've done. So it can be difficult. Like you said, it is your job. You know, it's a much harder to be a skilled position, right? And you're expected to put the puck in the back of the net and you're sitting and you haven't handled the puck for a while. Obviously, there's things that the fourth line can do differently to bring that momentum, and a lot of that is the physicality. It's putting the pressure, you know, getting an opposing team's line hemmed into the zone so that the next line can come out with tired players out on the ice. So for those guys, yes, it still is difficult, but I think the way they play the game or the way you see the game for majority of the fourth lines is maybe different than, say, you know, second or, you know, a top line guy getting a few minutes off and not having to handle the puck there. But yes, no, it's been fun to watch those guys, the physical play. I mean, even when you look at, so you looking at Myers, you're looking at Melanson, you're looking at Cartier, you're looking at Winterton. Those have been the fourth line for the last few games, you know, going through, and they've interchanged well. They play together, they read off of each other, but they're not just the old school fourth line where there's no puck on the ice. They've made plays. You look to the last game, Melanson able to get it.
Ben Myers scoring.
Yep, Myers scoring. You had Winterton score as well. So they're getting off offensive opportunities, and they're also changing the game physically. And I think especially in the Vancouver game, which got a little nasty, you need those guys out there to, I mean, I won't say sell the score, but at the same time, you need to stir it up, make sure that the opposing team knows when you're out there.
And I think they've just been so fun to watch too. It's noticeable when they are out there, and particularly Jacob Melanson has been very fun to watch.
Yes.
Lane Lambert has talked a lot about how he brings multiple elements to this team that are unique, and it was really great to see him get his first NHL point too. I can't believe that was his first one, because it feels like he's been so noticeable.
Close and all are over. I mean, I'd look at the LA game. He had an opportunity to beat the goaltender, but it went off the post, and it's a matter of time. Those guys do the right things. I feel like I always just say, if you keep doing the right things, you end up eventually being rewarded. And, you know, whether it's the sacrifice physically, getting in front of shots, they play the game the hard way, right? Like, they are playing in the corners, getting to the front of the net. So when those guys get rewarded, it's always special to see.
It's also been nice to see the team starting to get healthy as well. Obviously, Brandon Montour will still be out for a couple of more weeks, and I believe Jaden Schwartz as well, but guys coming back into action. Vince Dunn was out for one game, but he's back. Berkeley Catton is back. Matt Murray is very close at the time of recording, so that's also just been a positive thing given the way that the injury bug just really seemed to infiltrate the team. Jared McCann, of course, back too. I can't believe that I would forget the impact of Jared McCann, who's just been, he just came right out of that injury ready to play. So that's been fun to see too.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they've had to deal with all season, right?
Yeah.
You start at the beginning of the year through now, players have been injured. And I think the interesting or cool part is watching guys step up. When your number is called to go in, I mean, one of the players would be Cale Fleury. When Montour went down, I mean, he hadn't played for 26 games, and he stepped in, and to me, he's looked really good. And that's, I always talk to, like, it's hard in those positions when you haven't played for a long time to get into game situation. Yes, you're practicing, right? You're still conditioned. You're still in the gym. But game situations are completely different than being in a practice mode. So you can try to simulate that all you want. And he's come in and he's been fantastic for me. Defensively sound, strong, physical, down below the goal line. And, a lot of times you sit in those situations, you want to just kind of survive, right? Like not be noticed. It's been so long. You're just trying to get your game back to where it was before, you didn't play all those games. And like I said, I've noticed him positively versus sitting there saying like, oh, Montour's got big shoes to fill, right? He's a huge part of this team. And then with Kale going in, that's been fantastic. I think you look at Tolvanen, how he's stepped his game up, in the absence of, looking, McCann's been out for a while. Kako was out at the beginning of the year. Schwartz has been out. So all of these players being out of the lineup, those are the two that I look at that have really stepped up in different situations in different ways even Mahura as well. Mahura's played well, in the games that he's been in. So I think just looking at the Kraken roster and looking at all the injuries, you can see guys stepping in and, whether that's one game off and then you're back in or an extended period of time, they're ready to go. And that is, you got to give credit because it is not easy to do. We talked about sitting for 4 minutes. Imagine sitting for a week, sitting for 2 weeks, and
sitting
then
for a month,
getting back into a game, and having to play against the best players in the world at the highest level and do that flawlessly.
And not only that, but when Kale came into the game too, it was the second night of a back-to-back, so he's got fresh legs because it was against the LA Kings, but that's also a big physical team. Yep. And because it was Montour and Dunn who were gone, that meant that he had to step in on the power play too. Yep. And they converted on his power play, which was great to see as well, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on his power play. But anyway.
4 shots in that game too, so he made his presence known in the LA game. Again, you got to give credit, especially knowing how hard that is to do.
And coach has been really happy and complimentary with him as well, so that's good. So stick taps to Kale Fleury. All right, I got one more thing in this section of the show that we got to talk about. We have to talk about goaltending and how excellent both Joey Decord and Philip Grubauer have been through this stretch, even through the skid, but also through the winning streak. They have just been rock solid. What has impressed you there?
Well, they're giving the team a chance to win every game. I think we've shown the graphics of how many close games, 1-goal games. Obviously, you throw away the empty netters and how close the games are that the Kraken have played, even during the skid where they weren't winning or getting the points within those games. The goaltending play was a reason why they were close, right? Like, you ask your goal a lot from your goaltenders. It can be a thankless position to play. And when they do what they've been doing, you have to give them their credit as well. They've been keeping the Kraken in games where, again, grade A opportunities. I remember the second period in Anaheim, I think it was 16 shots against, but there were a ton of opportunities, and Grubauer had to stand on his head. Joey's done that multiple times throughout the last 15, 20 games or so, where you're buying time for the team to get their legs under them, to get that momentum back. And sometimes that's just the timeliness of needing a save, right? Where things aren't going your way and things could easily just start snowballing. And the goaltenders have been there to make those saves in those moments. Then, a couple minutes later, the Kraken end up scoring. And now all of a sudden the momentum's back on their side and they're moving. So it's kind of not necessarily looking at individual saves as like, oh my gosh,
managing the momentum,
the most spectacular save. Yes, they've made some huge saves, but I look at the timing of some of those, especially when, like I said, there's moments where the other team is going to have that momentum. They're putting the pressure on. The Kraken are on their heels a bit. You need your goaltender. Look at the penalty kill over the last few games as well. You need your goaltender at times to be the best penalty killer out there, and they have done that. So it's been a bright spot for the Kraken. The goaltending has. Obviously, they're sitting, 2 points out of a playoff spot right now. And I think the goaltending is a big reason why they're in that position right now and still fighting for the playoff spot.
And I asked Philip Grubauer after that Anaheim game, he stopped 40 of 41 shots that got his way, which is just wild. But I asked him what he felt like the difference has been for him this year. And he just said he really credits the buy-in of the team into this coaching staff, into what the coaching staff is asking them to do, and in particular, the system that they have the team playing in, and that just the predictability of what is getting his way and the kinds of shots that are getting his way because of all of those things. He says that is what is the difference for him at least. But also all of the goaltenders have credited that they also just love working with Zuli, the goalie coach, who was the goalie coach in Coachella Valley that Grubauer would have worked with last year when he went down in February. Joey obviously worked with him, and he's also from Thunder Bay, which is where Matt Murray is from, and they had some shared familiarity there too. So it's nice to hear that as well, that all three of them like love working with him and like credit that too. So that's positive.
It's shown.
Definitely. All right. Any final thoughts before we move into some New Year's resolution talk here?
No, I'm ready to go.
All right, Drew, anything from you here?
Let's do it.
Okay. New Year's resolutions. Do you have one, JT, or do you believe that if you're not broke, don't fix it?
I don't do New Year's resolutions.
Exactly.
I say the same thing every year. I just say New Year, same me.
I was kidding, and you doubled down, and I was kidding.
That's what, for as long as I can remember, that's what I say. I have never done a New Year's resolution, and I'm going to keep it that way.
You have no bad habits?
Oh, I got plenty of bad habits, but we're just not changing them. It's New Year, same me.
Okay. I respect that you know yourself that well.
Piper, how about you?
Self-love. I don't really have a New Year's resolution, but I feel like when my New Year's resolution comes around, it's actually going to be February 1st because the month of January is freaking me out. I'm very much, at the time we're recording this, it's not quite the new year, but it is almost the new year, and I am already like 1 foot in front of the other, has to be the name of the game at the moment. So I'm going to just give myself another month because I'm like, I think I just need to try to survive January, and then like we'll get a break in February, and then I can do a little bit of self-reflection when I don't feel like, because right now I feel like I need to fix everything and everything's on fire, and there's too many possibilities for resolutions. But I've been doing better overall this year with like self-care on the road and with the grind of the schedule, which is something that is an underrated challenge, I think, if it's not something that you've done before, like never having a sleep schedule. You know, I've been improving my sleeping habits this year, and I've been trying to find ways to like eat better or more often, like just given the schedule. So I feel like I've been doing a little bit of a new season resolution. Okay. And then in February, I'm going to renew. Does that make sense?
No, I can agree with that. Maybe I'll download Johnny's Drink Water app to remind me to drink water. I'm not going to call it a New Year resolution, but maybe that's what I'll add to it. So
I need to do that as well. Every year I'm like, I need to drink more water, and then it's like, well, what does that mean? I need a SMART goal. You know those?
Yeah, we need, like measurable, you need an app to tell you to drink water in intervals, and then you have to do it.
Yeah. If I did that, though, Edzo would chirp me so hard if I backed up Johnny on that one.
Not if we all do it, all right?
Okay.
If we all
We're doing it together. I love it. John's going to love to hear that.
Yep.
Drew, do you have one?
Podcast resolution. Yeah, I'll hop on board. I'll drink more water, too.
Okay, great.
I need it.
Love it. All right, everybody, drink more water in 2026. Okay, nourish your bodies. Be hydrated. Really, hydration is very important. And every time I'm well hydrated, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I don't know why. It's crazy. Magic. Yeah, it's just magic.
Considering this, it's actually funny you thought about that. You're like, there's many times where I'm like, man, I got a headache. Mm-hmm. And Lexi just looks at me. She's like, well, when's the last time you had water?
Oh, my husband says the same thing.
I'm thinking. And she's like, if you have to think that hard, you need to drink more water. And I'm like, well, I just had milk earlier. Like, that's like...
That's what I say. I'm like, Jake, I had an Americano. Like, I had an Americano. That's like 40... That's like all water.
And she goes, not the same thing. So that could be a New Year's resolution, but I'm not calling it, but I'm thinking about it.
Wait, but did you say that you drink milk?
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, drink a glass of milk?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Moving on.
Like, you just don't... Yeah, just sit down with a glass of milk, yes. All the time.
Okay. I'm not going to...
All right, I guess I'm weird.
Yeah, little bit. I did want to... On this note, though, I wanted to say, some of you out there know that I make music, and I actually have a new song that will be out at the time that you're listening to this podcast, and I wanted to release it for New Year's because of kind of the message of the song. Because it's not about a New Year's resolution, but it's called Consequences of My Own Device, and it is kind of a play on like coping mechanisms basically, and it's like a song about overcoming the things and the stories that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel comfortable when things are self-destructive. So it's kind of a song about like addiction and other things that we do, bad habits that we have, that we know that we have that hurt us, but that we don't fix, essentially. So Consequences of My Own Device. So I just wanted to mention that because I feel like that song to me feels like a New Year's resolution. Okay. And it's
I
also
can't wait to listen.
It's also funny because I told John about it a long time ago. Like he was asking me about when I had new music coming out. We were on the bus. And I told him, I was like, oh, yeah, it's called Consequences of My Own Device. He's like, and of my own device is in parentheses, right? I'm like, yes. He's like, makes perfect. He was bought in immediately. I was like, thank you, John. And I was telling him about it. He's like, I can't wait to hear it. That sounds very thoughtful, Piper. So I just thought it was funny. I'm like, John gets it. John gets it. So
where can we listen to it?
Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere that you stream music. Sometimes Perfect. It takes a while to get on, like they all upload to the same places, but sometimes those like more niche streaming apps will take a couple of extra days. So, but Spotify and Apple Music, which is probably where most people find music. So, anywho, if you're looking for a little self motivation, I guess that's kind of what the song is about. So, all right, well,
new song.
What?
New year, new song.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've released music too, and I told people online that it would be coming soon, and it's just been really hard to. It's very hard to like want to like sing and do stuff when it's during the season, and you need your voice to do your job and all of that. But anyway, okay, we're gonna talk about some of our favorite moments from the year. So, 2025 in the rear view. What are the biggest Kraken hockey moments that stick out in your mind, JT?
One of them we just talked about was Grubauer's performance in Anaheim, the stopping 40 out of 41. Just the play within their timeliness, needing those saves. Magnitude of the games leading into the holiday break, needing to get back closer to that line. So that was a big one for me. I look back to Josh Mahura's overtime winner in Toronto as a very, very strong moment of this year. And then the third, I guess I didn't put them in order, just three moments, would be Stevie scored in St. Louis. So that game the game in whole was 2 seconds left in the third period to tie the game. And then Shane Wright ends up scoring the overtime winner in that game. Just the chaos of scoring with almost no time remaining left in the game, and then obviously being able to finish that one out in overtime. So those were three, whether it's the game or moments within the games that originally just popped to my mind when you're looking at this 2025.
The St. Louis one is interesting too because that is, they're not having their strongest season, obviously, but that's been a team that's been a challenge for the Kraken, and they've had some maybe not feisty battles, but frustrating battles definitely with. So it was nice to see them like get rewarded in that matchup. And then also, yes, the Josh Mahura overtime winner. That was one of my favorite moments.
I think you have to add too, like for Josh, we talked about stepping up, being in a position. Montour's not in the game where you normally would see Vince Dunn, Montour, like those guys are going to go back to back within the game. And with him out, you have to have somebody step up. He gets to get the opportunity in overtime to go out, and an excellent move. Took it all by himself, ends up beating the goal. It was huge. And what did you say? That was the last? He's known for scoring in that building, right?
When I talked to him post game, he's told me that when they were coming off the ice after morning skate that day, he was joking around with the guys in the locker room, and he was like, watch out, everybody. I've been known to be a threat in Toronto, because the last time that he had scored, which was like 2 years ago, was in Toronto. So he was kidding, but I love to see that for him. Moments, and Muzz is just the best, so I love to see him get rewarded. I'll go through my favorite moments here quickly. One of them is just the entire Jordan Eberle, the captain's comeback of the last year. After going through a first of its kind injury in the National Hockey League, his pelvis separated, the bones separated from themselves. It is, if you kind of look into the science behind it, it's crazy. And it could have been a completely career-ending injury. And he didn't let it stop him. And not only did he not let it stop him, but he came back earlier than expected and is now off to his second hottest scoring start of his entire career. He is literally off to currently the second best year he's ever had in the National Hockey League, which is just such a testament to him, his leadership, his commitment to this team and to this game, and so impressive. And I'm so happy for him. So I just think that's huge. That has to be a huge highlight. Pick. So my next one is the Jared McCann overtime game winner against Vegas, Game 2 this year. I don't remember exactly what the play was, but it was he shot and then he fell to his knee and then he got the rebound or something. I think he got
cross-checked. The shot went through. He was in front. The goalie was slashing him too. So that added to it. He's down and the rebound goes and he ends up firing it upstairs. That was pretty cool.
To beat Vegas at home, Game 2, to be able to just kind of start the season with momentum like that too. And I know Jared is very humble, but he was actually pretty fired up after that one, as he should be. So love that for him. And then my last one is kind of a combination here, but it is Ryan Winterton's first goal in the National Hockey League, because this is just a player that has worked so hard for his spot on this team. I mean, we talked to him earlier this season. We had seen him, it feels like, in so many games and really developing so well at this level, and to see him finally get rewarded, it just felt really good to see that reward. And then also Jacob Melanson's first point, which was on a Ryan Winterton goal just the other day. Kind of a little bit different because he hasn't played in as many games, but just nice to see these young guys kind of start to see the fruits of their labor, and that kind of paying off. So those are mine.
We'll have to wait till 2026. Well, maybe before, because there's still time. There's a couple games we're going through with the Berkeley Cat, and when he ends up getting that first goal, that's going to be a highlight moment, because he's been close, right? Yeah. We're waiting for that first goal. He's been all around. He's been playing well. So I think that's going to be another highlight moment in the later half of the season here coming up.
One of my favorite moments from the season was Catton's first point, because his dad's reaction was just hilarious, which we covered last episode. So we'll see what his dad does for his first goal.
Debuting with his hero. Just incredible stuff. But that being said, I mentioned that we had Jared on. That was a great episode.
Wait. We gotta get.
Oh, you got more? You got more, Drew?
I have a few more
okay, let's
if we
go.
have time.
Yeah, totally.
You gotta let him speak.
Decord shutout.
Oh.
32 shots blocked, which is the magic number for the Kraken. So that was, just love seeing that. And also just the Adam Sandler team costume is just, that's great. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Just a whole team doing a theme from just Adam Sandler, just someone's collection of movies.
And then to get him in the locker room, in their locker room, that's super cool.
Incredible. Those were mine.
I love it.
Very good. Very good. All the choices were good in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to pick from.
Yeah. Whatever we missed, everybody, let us know. Tweet at us or go on the Kraken's Instagram page and find one of these podcast posts. Let us know. Let us know what we forgot. What are your highlight moments from 2025 in Kraken Hockey Land? All right. We got another thing. Now we're going to go here. Now we got our favorite podcast moments. It's been so much fun the last year. I mean, JT, you came on to the show just a little bit probably before the new year last year. I can't really remember.
Sounds about
if
right.
It was November or December or something like that probably. So this has been kind of our first full year, and Drew, you joined us this season too, and you have been so awesome, and we're so grateful for all of your help and all you do to make this show run. So we wanted to review some of our favorite podcast interview moments that we've been able to have with this show. So please enjoy the hits. The biggest off-season acquisition in my eyes, if you will, and that is JT's new 7-foot Jar Jar Binks statue. I just feel like we really need to address this. You may have seen this on JT's social channels.
I didn't even have to convince Lexi to go purchase it. She was all on board, and right now it's in my office. I already have forgotten that I bought it. I think it was probably like 3 or 4 days afterwards. I went into my office, lights were a little dim, a little bit of a jump scare.
I heard a little story. Actually, I think you initially shared this story in a smaller group about how you remember Stevie when he was like 2 years old.
Yeah, he was a little bit older, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 or whatever. But yeah, he was a neighbor. His parents and I are good, pretty good friends and whatnot, and so they were neighbors, and he was around the neighborhood, with his rubber boots on and
Is it kind of
tracking
cool?
mud everywhere.
Is it kind of cool though to have been able to see him literally grow up and grow in this career field, and now you're his coach?
Yeah, it was. It was good. Because I started my coaching career in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and he came down as I think he was probably about 10 years old then, and played in a little tournament and went and watched him play then, and then we went and we're in Washington together, and having his parents out on the ice after that game in Vegas when we won the Stanley Cup was pretty special for everybody. So,
who's the funniest on this year's team?
Who's the funniest on the team? Well, I mean, I'm gonna go with Monty. That one's it. But a second pick for me, like Larson.
It's a good one.
Always. I mean, a lot of times he's not even doing anything. Like, I love too. There's times he just walks by John and us on the plane, and he just looks at us and smirks, and like it's just enough. I'm like intrigued at exactly what was going on.
But he walked up to me in the intermission interview. He was like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Good."
When he said that him and his girlfriend were both going to be Adam Sandler for Halloween, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. What a great idea. Not realizing that the entire team was going to be Adam Sandler or Adam Sandler characters.
What can you share about what's going on with the music in the room? Because Monty used to be kind of in charge of the music, but he's been in and out a little bit. Like, who is spinning the tunes?
It's funny actually when it's like Ebbs and Schwartz are there pretty early. So Ebbs will get on the Hawks and he'll get like Nickelback, all his rock on. And then Monty comes in the room and he starts switching it up. And like when Reichs is back, Reichs puts in his 2 cents. And then when Monty was gone for a bit, Muzz started getting on the tracks.
Oh.
And he was actually pretty good. I actually didn't mind Muzz's music. But they're all good. Like I like some Nickelback. I like the rap. I like what Muzz was playing. So yeah, we got some good DJs in the room.
Cool. Another super random question. I want to know, who do you think on the team would be best equipped to survive a zombie apocalypse?
Probably like Groovy.
Oh yeah.
He's got horses.
Okay.
True.
Like he can just ride, like obviously you're gonna run out of gas sometime.
I bet he definitely can build a
He's got
fire.
horses. You probably got a generator. He seems like an outdoor guy.
Yeah.
All right, who would be the worst? Like, who would you not want to be in the zombie apocalypse with?
Right now, probably Wentz, Maddie.
The list
Cats.
keeps going. The list keeps going.
Long flight, lights are off, and JT's been like asleep for a while. I was asleep for a while, but I wake up because I smell something, and I'm like just very strong. And you know what I smell? I smell the very distinct scent of sour sugar candy. And I take off my headphones and I hear this crinkling bag. But JT has been laying next to me unmoving here in his chair in the dark. He has his hat over his eyes, like 2 pairs of headphones on, and he is feeding himself Sour Patch Kids from his pocket while he is sleeping. When Berkeley made his NHL debut, he was playing on a line with Jordan Everly. Did you know about that? What was the conversation about that? Just crazy.
I asked him, who are you playing with? And he goes, I'm playing with Beniers and Eberle. And I'm like, oh my God. And then like his second shift, his first time he touched the puck, he got an assist. So it was in Philly, and I asking my wife, do you think we'll be on TV? She goes, no, we're in Philly. So did you see me when Bert got the assist? Did you? Yeah, I was doing like, and it was pretty embarrassing. I got roasted by my friends pretty good, you know?
We had an incredible moment on our broadcast in the afternoon game against the Oilers with your son, Booker Brown in Climate Pledge Arena, who is having himself a day.
To say he enjoyed himself, like that'd be an understatement. He had been talking about going to the game, and actually when we left to go to the PWHL game, the Torrent, and when we were leaving, he was like crying because he thought that we were going to the game tomorrow, like the Edmonton game, that he wasn't getting to go, or that we weren't going to that. Was kind of confused that there were back-to-back games. So that's how upset he was, thinking that he wasn't going to be able to go to the game. So he'd been thinking about the Edmonton game all week at least. And yeah, the candy got to him, the root beer got to him, the ice cream got to him. But I'll also say
like father, like son.
He is a little bit of a wild child. So it was slightly elevated because they were at the game. But he is always filled with energy.
All right, everybody, we are pleased to introduce to you all and welcome to our show, Tess from Spokane. Tess, you had a very generous support donation, purchase, whatever the term is, to support the One Roof Foundation to be able to be here with us today. So just want to first start by saying thank you very much
Thank you to my husband. He did it, and this was a surprise gift for my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I didn't actually know that
That's
this was
awesome.
happening.
Oh my gosh, well, we didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dylan.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So then you must be a pretty big Kraken fan, no?
We are. So we have had season tickets that we've shared with friends for the past few seasons, and it's been a really fun thing to do with our son, who's now 3.5. The first year we had tickets was when we made it to the playoffs, and we got to come out from Spokane to watch the Avs games and the Stars games, and the energy was just amazing. And since then we've been pretty hooked and just love it.
Oh,
yeah.
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Forgive me for not knowing. How far is Spokane? We're talking like driving wise to get to these games.
We don't always drive. So the flight is 46 minutes,
Okay.
I think. And so it's super easy. The drive is about 4.5 hours, but it depends on weather on the passes, obviously, and it's always worth it. So,
Do you have a favorite Kraken player?
do I have a favorite Kraken player? That's a hard question. I feel like after today, with you all being so gracious, hosting us and meeting Brandon Montour and him being really sweet to our son and taking the time to see us while he's recovering, I feel like he's right up there. Have to love Joey. Yeah. And
The mayor.
Yes, and as I told you earlier, our son is lamenting the fact that Yanni Gord is not here anymore, so he's been his favorite.
Well, I was joking that I'm like, well, your son has very good taste because those are two of JT's buds and Brandon Montour and Yanni Gord. So
so you would get along with him. You did.
Yeah,
peekaboo. You played a lot of peekaboo.
We had some fun there while we were waiting for Monty to finish up. But no, I was glad that he was still at the rink and able to, when he said his favorite player was Montour, I was like, all right, we gotta make this happen.
JT got on the phone.
We gotta make this happen. We gotta figure it out. And he was nice enough to take the picture, save some time, and get a signed stick as well.
Yeah,
So
that'll make his year. Thank you.
So what questions about anything can we answer for you?
Okay, I'll start with a hockey question. So we have the Olympic break coming up, and I'm wondering what you feel like the team needs to do to maintain momentum or cohesion during that break, and then after when they come back, what's really important?
Well, I think for me, I look at it twofold. For the guys that are going over throughout the league, you just look at it from a standpoint of continuing to play, right? Being on the ice. And then for the guys who don't go and the guys who stay, I think you look at it, it's a mental break. Like, and I think
And physical too.
For this season, you need to have those opportunities to just relax, to go back. And obviously they're going to continue to, from a standpoint of being ready for those games, they're going to stay in the gym. They're going to be riding the bike. They're going to do what's necessary to come back after the break ready to play, because there are going to be players around the league that continued to play, right? So they're still playing at that high level. And I think also injury-wise, right? Getting your body and getting everything healthy again. As much as it's made this season harder for the guys, right? You look at the schedule, how fast they're playing. I think that break is good. Like, anytime you can take a mental reset, much like after, a regular season or the playoffs is done, the players need to just kind of get away from the game for a little bit. So I think that can serve as an opportunity. So when they come back, they're mentally refreshed, they're physically refreshed, and ready to hopefully go on a run and push towards the playoff run.
And I would say 2 additional things there too. We anticipate Philipp Grubauer it will play for Germany, so it's great for him, like personally, that he's been playing so well right now, and great for Germany if that can kind of continue. So, and then also good for the Kraken if he, has a good run during the Olympics to be able to bring that back too. So that is definitely something that I think Kraken fans should be excited that you have a player to cheer for and to watch for, and kind of an underrated team, a different reason to watch. And then also just JT, like you said, like the mental break, because January is going to be a very hard month, possibly the hardest month of some of these guys' careers in the National Hockey League. We are tied setting a record for most games played in a month. The Kraken are. So that, like, in NHL history, so that is going to be a ton of games. So I think the rest is going to be good, but hopefully right before the break too, they play more Pacific Division teams. They play Vegas and Anaheim and LA again. So I hope that they can maybe recreate that run before the holiday break too. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
Another question for you two. You mentioned self-care on the road, and I was wondering what you do for self-care. Do you work out? Do you bring books? Do you sing? Do you stay in touch with family? What do you rely on?
Do you want to start, or should I start?
You can start.
Yeah, it has been something that I've definitely had to learn. Like, I'm a very go kind of person, and so just all throughout my life I've not really been somebody that's super in tune with like my physical and mental needs, and it's kind of been fine until I started grinding away in the NHL. And I feel like it was maybe easier or different first year or two, and there were playoffs and things were different, but it kind of gets harder as the years, or it has gotten a little harder as the years have gone on. So I've had to find new ways to adapt and to pay attention. And for me, a couple of those things have been like, this year I just started bringing these protein bars. I am not somebody that likes like supplements and stuff like that. And I definitely eat very healthy, but I'm not like a health guru. And so a lot of days, like, I was just going to morning skate, just like with coffee, and then having lunch after. And that was fine. But then like I'm drinking coffee at 8 p.m. every game day, because you have to be your best, mentally your best, your most on point, your most sharp at 9 p.m. and then get up the next day and fly through the middle of the night. So my point is, like, I started eating these protein bars every game day that I like them enough to do it. And that has made me feel so much better. And then I've also stopped drinking coffee any day that I don't need to be quote unquote on. Sure. Like, because otherwise if I have withdrawals because I've had too much, like, then I feel bad on the off day, and then my head hurts and I need to write a feature on the off day, and it can't feel like that. So just balancing my coffee intake more has been something. I also have been trying to work out more this year, and I've been doing a pretty good job of that, but it's also hard when it's like, okay, if I have 5 hours of downtime, am I spending that 5 hours of downtime cleaning my house or packing my bag or doing my laundry or making sure that my life things are in order? Or am I spending it writing a feature or working on preparing to get ahead? Or am I spending that working out, which will also exhaust me further when I'm already tired? Yeah. Like, it's kind of finding that balance, right. But those things help me a lot. And then if this season, I really have not had like any downtime at all, but when I do,
you will have
I like
break.
to play Stardew Valley. I like to play my Switch.
Yeah.
JT knows that, but
Yeah, no, I think for me, I mean, one of the things, obviously, like learning going into the broadcast side is protecting your voice, right? And staying hydrated. I drink a lot of Gatorade. I don't necessarily just drink water, but obviously there's a lot of sugar there. But like just trying to maintain, obviously, like when we go to places like Calgary and you get into the mountains and it's very dry and like, how do you prepare yourself to be ready for the next day? Obviously, from a playing perspective, it's more physical, right? Like we do all the training and all the stuff in the off season to like get you ready to play the game. But like for this side of the job, like that was a process I think I had to learn and to figure out how to best not lose my voice or to stay ready for those next games. But outside of that, I think it's just prioritizing sleep. I think just going from the athlete side, like know how important sleep is, and we don't get a lot of it. Like we were talking, getting into the hotel in LA or to LA at 2:00 in the morning. That is a constant on the road, right? You're leaving after games, so you're not getting the sleep. And then I also think of like the time zone changes that we have to go through and how hard that is on your body to. I mean, again, especially when you go out east, it's 3 hours different. Well, it's like, well, back in Seattle on the west side, like it's or West Coast, it's only 9 p.m. So like. But I really want to stay up till 12. Like, so like, it's just little things like that of staying on top of trying to go to bed at the right times. And obviously there are times where we can't. So, I mean, for me, it's focusing on trying to be as hydrated as possible for your voice and going through, but then also just taking those times to relax, right? We have such a busy schedule. So when we do get an opportunity, you know, a lot of times they're sitting in the hotel room.
I was going to say, people give JT and I in particular a lot of crap because we hardly ever like go to dinner with our coworkers or go do anything because
you need to protect your voice.
Well, yeah. And like other people, they'll go like reasonably, they'll like go to dinner or like go get drinks and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know, 6:30. I kind of like, I need to do my work and I need to force myself to be lights out by 9. I have to
you just try to, I mean, again, a lot of room service sitting in, you know, the room, whether it's watching games, playing the Switch, you know, different things to kind of decompress after games. And, sleep is very important. We have just such an interesting schedule. Yeah. Like you said, whether it's being on at, 9 o'clock at night or we're staying up and not getting in until 2:00 in the morning. And again, I always look at it too. It's like the question, do I sleep on the plane or do I just stay up so that you're tired when you get back? So there's a lot of, because I'm like, if I take a cat nap right now, like then I'm going to be wide awake again. So I think the travel aspect is a huge thing that, again, knowing from the player side, but also different on the broadcasting side is how much the mental side is.
And I got to be mentally on like at morning skate too, because that's when when my day starts on a game day is at 9 a.m. And then I have like the gap, but we're already doing interviews and gathering information. Like it's a game day is 16 hours of work with a 2-hour break to eat and prep basically in the middle. So it's just because it's so sporadic in a way, there like is no routine. So you kind of have to force some kind of routine in a way. And that has helped me as somebody who, like I said, I'm like, don't have a routine ever. I'm just.
Now you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been probably the biggest thing. But yeah.
I think I just have one last question. So you know how teams and players have to watch tape of themselves for improvement. I'm wondering if you ever have time to watch yourselves and if you have noticed a funny habit that you fixed or that your friends and family have noticed and pointed out to you.
That is a really funny question.
Yeah, definitely could answer that. Definitely go back and watch things. I will say in the moment, because I always like to I'll be like first period, 10 minutes left. Like I didn't explain something the way I wanted to, or it came off differently than how I want to say. I would say majority of the time we're harsher critics of ourselves than what it sounded like or how it was portrayed. So I've gotten to know that and try to be a little less hard on myself because you are going to make mistakes. You're going to, fumble a word or as something's going on. The game is fast. You're trying to explain something in a short window and you have to be very, very precise about it. So I have noticed by going back and watching that it's usually better than what you think it was, and that we are our own harshest critics. But I would say watching, the games back, you do notice you start to say, a certain, adjective describing something or trying not to do it. Or I'm like, man, that was a great save or an excellent save or an excellent this. And I'm like, everything can't be excellent, right? Like we got
out your thesaurus.
Yeah, you're trying to find a different way to say it. So you start to recognize, and now even more so, as you get more experienced in it, it's less watching it back. Like it's in the moment where you're like, man, I shouldn't have said, like I just said that. Why did I say the same thing again? So I think you do notice those things. It is still weird to listen back. Like I don't necessarily like it, but I know that it's helpful for me and looking at different plays or, how could I have explained that better, right? Or it took me too long to get to my explanation of why this play happened. So I do like to go back and watch and go back to listen to different parts of the game, especially the ones that I write down when I'm like, man, I think I messed that up. I think that's a part of growing. That's a part of, especially from somebody like me who I never went to school for this. I'm kind of, like I said, like just learning.
It's your first broadcasting job,
Learning.
Do you take notes as you go, or when you have moments off camera, or do you remember?
But I also think too, even just watching other broadcasts and other teams and seeing how they explain something. Now, obviously, you're not going to copy exactly how they're doing, but I think just all the information that I can take in has helped, go from where I was in year one to now where we're sitting. And there's always room for improvement. And I think that that's the mindset that I have going in and why it's important to listen to back to different, whether it's an interview, whether it's, a breakdown of a play or a goal, or just listening to other broadcasters. How did they explain what was going on within a game, or versus how I would have said it, like, and just kind of comparing the two. Sure. I think that's been it's been good for me in trying to learn and grow as a broadcaster.
Well, I think you're both fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
We love watching you.
Aww.
And
thank you.
Cal, our 3-year-old, loves Allison too. So shout out to Allison.
As he should.
How about you, Piper?
Oh, there's so much there. Because I did go to school for broadcasting. I was a speech and debate coach and a theater kid. And I obviously make music. And so I have performance review is something I'm very familiar with. It's hard because JT, like you said, it's like you don't want to use the same kind of things over and over again. However, the game of hockey, the same kinds of things tend to happen or tend to not happen. And there are only so many ways to, explain that, I guess. So sometimes, like, I totally agree that sometimes it's like, okay, I need to find a new way to explain that or to ask that or whatever. But then for me as well, there's multiple things there, but for me as well, I'm a reporter. So I'm reporting what they said, not what I think. So a lot of times what my hits are literally almost word for word what the quote is that the person said. I'm kind of just sharing it or paraphrasing it for the sake of time. And so I don't really have a lot of creative liberties, if that makes sense, in my hits. Interviews are different though. And I literally have like a document of like, how many different ways can I ask about managing the neutral zone better? Like, and I'll try to like get it in there, but also as I have done this with the Kraken specifically, like more and more, it's gotten more conversational, which is like, it depends who you ask, like good and bad, because some people are like, there's different philosophies, I guess, in how you ask questions, because sometimes the audience could use context, but I don't need to tell the player what happened. They know exactly what happened. And so it's how do you elicit their perspective on these various things. So anyways, I have to think backwards from what I think the audience would like to hear or what they need to hear or what the answer to the question is and formulate the question around that. So I'm very intentional is my point in what I say. Sometimes things don't come out exactly as I intended them to because I'm like following up on something that I didn't expect them to say, or I'm surprised by something, or I'm like really, really listening to what they say, and then I kind of lose my train of thought, and it just kind of depends. But yes, I try not to be too hard on myself about it, but there are certainly interviews that I'm just like, what was going on there? But the players also know, and they know me, and it's fine. They know.
You don't get that much time either, so it's happening fast. But
I will say, like, my features, those are really hard for me to listen back to because half of it is like voiceover, and I wrote it and I write it to match the tone of the piece, and I pick the music to match in this moment and all of that. And sometimes once we get like the first edit of it back, I know I drive our editors insane, but I'm just like, I need to do my voiceover again because I cannot stand the sound of my own voice. Why did I say that word that way?
Yeah,
and that is where I
part.
get really hard on myself.
It's like even like your answering machine. Like I just feel like I have a different opinion of like what I think I sound like, and then when you hear it back, you're like, wait, that's not how I envisioned it sounding. Like, not that it sounds bad, but you just. Right. It's weird sometimes.
Like, oh, that was so dramatic. My gosh.
It's weird listening back to your voice, especially like over. I mean, again, like I don't even think I have a voicemail. I think it's just my number. It's like you have reached number because of that. But yeah, no, it's weird. But I think it's part of our job. We have to,
Well, I don't love listening to this back. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna love listening to myself either, but.
Yeah, but broadcast it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
we're having fun. We always just having a conversation. So no, the podcast is good.
It is. Thank you again for being so gracious and having me and showing Cal and Dylan around.
Of course, thank you guys for coming all the way from Spokane and for your husband's support of the One Roof Foundation and the work that they do. It goes a very long way, and also just your support of the team. We appreciate
Happy to
it.
be here. Thanks.
Hey. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Signals from the Deep with Piper Shaw and JT Brown. Give us an assist by rating your show on your listening app. You can watch the full video episodes on the Seattle Kraken's YouTube. Go Kraken!